If you want to improve almost any dish, I've got a secret: cheese. Salads, pizza, sandwiches. Its melty magic adds the flavor bomb you crave.
There's no better way to showcase cheese than to put it on a burger, but not just any burger, my French onion soup burger.
Another cheese home run: pizza, a French Alsatian pizza.
There's only 3 ingredients. It is onion, bacon, and cheese, served on a very thin crust.
What's cheese without the cow? We visit a dairy full of pampered bovines because...
Every cow in this barn is a lady. Treat them as such.
And on Ask Sara, DIY cheese. Cheese, please. Today on Sara's Weeknight Meals.
This next dish is really going to impress you. I had it the first time several years ago when I was on a French riverboat cruise, and the chef happened to be a German chef. And he made it one night, at sunset, to go with some wine. I was so blown away because there's only 3 ingredients in this hors d'oeuvre. It is onion, bacon, and cheese, served on a very thin crust. So I've got about 6 ounces of bacon here that I'm cutting into 1/4-inch slices. I've got a medium-low pan preheated, and I'm going to add them to the pan and cook them till they're just barely golden. Everything in this recipe is ultimately going to go into a 500-degree oven. So we want to make sure not to slightly undercook it, because it's going to brown in that oven later on. I'm going to transfer this bacon, now that it's perfect, to paper towels to drain a bit. I'm just going to let them drain. Now I'm going to pour off all but 2 tablespoons of the bacon fat. Okay, let me get the onions in. Here we go. 4 cups of onions. You want them paper thin. Now you are going to be absolutely astonished when we are done about how far they go down. We're going to cook these onions covered for about 10 minutes. Time for the topping. Let me start with my egg. I just want the yolk. Okay, that's going to go in there. Boom. Let me just break it up a tiny bit. It's amazing how simple this recipe is. We're using a whole 8 ounces of creme fraiche. Use creme fraiche. Don't use sour cream, don't use yogurt. I'll tell you why. Neither one of those items, dairy items, has a high enough butter-fat content to hold up in a 500-degree oven. And now we're going to add a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of salt and pepper, and that is it for this topping. Now, everything I'm making is good for 3 pizzas. We're just going to make 1 because it's snacks. Let me check my onions. Oh, yes, those look wonderful. They're translucent, meaning they look clear. And I'm just going to keep cooking them on medium-low, really medium-low, for about another 20-30 minutes. We're looking for a golden color. And if you don't cook them low and slow, you aren't going to get that flavor. Okay, so while these are getting brown, I'm going to go over and look at a book. You know, I think those onions are ready because they got very quiet. Whenever you're cooking, you should use all your senses, and one of them is sound. Look at those, my God. That is absolutely perfect. Next, for the pizza dough, I'm gonna do this trick that I learned from my Sicilian makeup lady many years ago. Oil the board, oil the rolling pin, and that way the dough will stick to the board and you won't have to chase it around as you do when you do it with flour. You can either make your own pizza dough or you can buy store-bought. So you'll need about a 1/2 pound per pizza. I want this pizza to be about 1/8 of an inch thick and vaguely a rectangle. The shape really doesn't matter. So one last round, and then I'm gonna transfer it to parchment, and then we're gonna need to roll it out again because it's gonna shrink as I transfer it. So then I'm gonna roll it out again. All right, I'm gonna move this over and top it. I'm gonna spread about 1/3 of this creme fraiche mixture. Next, we're gonna put on 1/3 of our gorgeous caramelized onions. Let's get our onions down here, the star of the show. So I'm gonna just sort of drop this as I can. Isn't that beautiful? It looks like golden hair. All those thin strands. You just wanna make sure that every bite has some onion in it. Just like anytime I eat, I want everything to be in that bite that I have. I'm gonna spread about 1/3 of the bacon. I've got 4 ounces of cheese. I've preheated my oven to 500 degrees, which takes about a half an hour. We're gonna pop this in the oven. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Wow. I'm going to check one thing that's very important. How the crust looks underneath. Let me see. Yeah, looks nice and brown. Now, I'm going to cut it. Oh, wonderful crispy crust. Oh, fun times, yes. Of course, I would love this with a really lovely chilled wine, but I could see this with beer. And that was really pretty simple. Don't you think this would be the most delicious snack for dinner? Woof, my Alsatian onion pie.
We all should be shepherds of the land. You just have to look around. You see how we care for the land, how we care for the cows. And we say every cow in this barn is a lady. Treat them as such.
Anthony Urgaitis is a Connecticut dairy farmer who knows a thing or two about ladies. He and his partner, George Malcolmus, own Manolo Blahnik USA, the luxury shoe brand made famous on Sex and the City. The step from stilettos to farming wasn't far. Just across the street from their house in Litchfield, Connecticut, was beautiful Arathusa Farm. Developers wanted it. Tony and George bought it to save the view.
And we were not farmers. Barns need animals. So we bought our first 5 cows. They start calving. And they start calving. And we had to build another barn. Before we knew it, we had 100 cows. 150 cows in no time.
That was 17 years ago. Today, their 400 prize-winning cows live in a virtual bovine spa. Diets are created for each cow by a nutritionist. There's an exercise plan. Cooling fans keep them comfortable, as does their 24/7 human attendant. Even the stalls are cushy with soft rubber mattresses.
A little gift to it. It's like a firm mattress. You like firm? If you have a bad back, you can come and stay in one of our stalls. It is. This is really nice. Here's about I would say about 2 inches.
But the purpose of the mattress, of course, is comfort, because they do stand, so it's not hard on their, the joints or legs.
Everything here is immaculate, down to the cow's tails. Every day they're hand shampooed and rinsed with special conditioner.
Very scientific brush. I can use for my hair, but this is what we do with the tails. I mean, we do wash them, and it's very important also to, once they're washed, to get the tangles out. So you want to keep this very clean because it does brush against their udders. So you're not getting anything into the milk supply.
And what a milk supply! From each cow, 10 gallons a day. It's truly farm to table. They bottle the milk and sell it in their store. They make cheese and butter, yogurt and ice cream. There's even a restaurant, a dairy empire held in trust for the community, all from a passion to save a beautiful piece of land.
There's an Aborigine saying, the land is crying, and certain people hear that cry. You know, you feel that responsibility. It's just something that is in the soul.
So I've got another question for Ask Sara today. I've got Bill from Mount Vernon, New York. So Bill, I understand you have a question for me.
I do. I am marrying into a Italian-Portuguese family, and at the heart of the family is the very Italian grandmother. So I always like to impress her, my fiance, and the entire family. So I was wondering if you had any recipes that I could use.
Oh, I do. This is such an impressive one. It's homemade ricotta. Well, actually, it's ricotta-style cheese, but nobody will know the difference after you've made it. And it's really simple. All you need is whole milk and a little heavy cream and some acid. It takes no time at all. And that would really wow them because it's so delicious when you make it fresh. Here, take a look at this tape, and this will tell you how to do it.
All right, great.
Here's what goes into the cheese. 4 ingredients. I've already got a quart of milk in there. I'm now going to add a half a cup of heavy cream. A little bit of salt, like a 1/4 teaspoon would be good. And that's kosher salt. Now we're going to bring this up somewhat slowly to a full rolling boil. Stir it so it doesn't scorch on the bottom, because that can happen with dairy products. Now, you may be wondering, why is she using such a deep pan for so little liquid? It's because when the milk boils, I don't know if this has ever happened for you, it comes up and goes over the top. We don't want that to happen. I've got my lemons down here that I nuked. It's my favorite way to get the juice out. And we want about 1.5 tablespoons or 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Out of this whole recipe, with all that milk and all that cream, you only end up with about a cup of ricotta. But oh boy, it is the best ricotta you will ever taste. And you made it. Okay, so let that come up to a boil. Just have to be patient. All right, as soon as you start to see it come up, stir in the lemon juice and turn it down. Okay, you see what happens? Look at that. Doesn't it look awful? But that's what you want it to look like. You're seeing the curds. Now we just let it simmer for a minute, and then we're gonna strain it and let this drain. I've set up a very deep bowl here. It's lined with a strainer that's lined with some cheesecloth. You could certainly use just a dampened paper towel if you wanted to. That would be fine too. And we're gonna let this drain for about 10 or 15 minutes. The longer you drain it, the tighter it gets, the more structure it has. If you eat it right away, it's very, very creamy and soft. Right now, you can see what it's like. See, it's very, very soft. I think I'm only gonna give this like 5 more minutes because it's draining so quickly. Let me go get my garlic. I'm gonna mash it up because I'm gonna flavor it with a little mashed garlic. You could leave the garlic out, but I just think it's a nice addition. And when you roast garlic like this in foil in an oven, it just gets so wonderfully, oops, it is hot, so wonderfully creamy and sort of sweet. It's not that intense garlic, which, you know, some people, it's just too much, just really nice. I'm just gonna cut it in half so I can squeeze it out. I could have roasted it ahead of time and cooled it off, which would have actually made my life much easier than using my asbestos fingers here. So I'm gonna add that to here, but before I do, I just wanna pause and show you, look at all that liquid. There's some more still coming out of it. You can use that liquid in baking, sort of where you would have used milk. You don't have to throw it out. Okay, here comes. We're gonna plop this right into the bowl with our garlic. Wow. This ricotta will keep in the fridge for a couple of days. It's fresh, so eat it while it's fresh. So, Bill, what do you think? Do you think you could do that?
Yeah, that was very easy.
Yeah, one little thing I want to mention, that if it doesn't curdle right away, you can add a little extra lemon juice. That works. So,
Oh, that's a great tip.
yeah, that's going to get Grandma. She's going to like that one, yeah.
Thank you.
Congrats. I have a wonderful time. Where are you going on your honeymoon?
Italy.
Ah, perfect, perfect. Okay, well, have a glass of Chianti for me.
You got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, bye, Bill.
Bye.
If you want to ask me more questions, just send them to me at saramoulton.com. You know, I thought, since this is the cheese show, that there's no better way to showcase cheese than to put it on a burger. But not just any burger, my French onion soup burger. So I took all the elements of a French onion soup, the slow-cooked onions, the red wine, the beef broth, the crusty bread, and the cheese, the classic cheese, which is Gruyere, and I put it all on a burger. Yum. So we're gonna start with the onion. I've got about 3 cups here. Gotta cook them low and slow, because otherwise you will not develop the flavor that you need, and they won't get as melty and tender. So here we go. We have 2 tablespoons of butter melted in here, and I'm gonna add 3 cups of sliced onion. And they take about 15 minutes covered, and then 15 minutes uncovered. But you could make this part of the recipe, the onion part, even a couple days ahead of time, no problem with that. And I'm gonna add some salt. It's very important when you're cooking to season as you go. Don't wait till the end. And I'm gonna give them a stir. Okay, on goes the lid. Slowly cook for 15 minutes. And meanwhile, I'm gonna go out and pick some thyme. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Oh yes, that looks beautiful. Look at how wonderfully translucent those onions are. Okay, so now I'm gonna give them another 15 to cook very slowly and get really nice and brown and caramelized. In the meantime, I'm gonna mince about a teaspoon of garlic and a teaspoon of thyme leaves. Anytime you're working with fresh herbs, keep in mind that if you need to end up with a teaspoon, you need to start with a tablespoon, because it totally reduces when you chop it. Well, those onions look very nice, so I'm going to add our thyme and half of the garlic. The rest of the garlic we're going to save for the garlic butter. We give them about a minute to just get the garlic softened and cooked a bit. Next is the beef broth. We're looking for about 1/3 of a cup, and we're gonna just add this right to the pan and reduce it down. And this is gonna accentuate the beefy flavor that we're looking for. Okay, I'm gonna turn it up and simmer it down. I know it's gonna need pepper, so let's get a little bit of that in there. And then we need to have a taste. Every part of this should be nicely seasoned. Oh, that's pretty yummy, right? Very good. Okay, I'm gonna say that's ready to be parked, which is what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna put it in a bowl. And we're just gonna let that sit, because we wanna use the same pan. The idea being, let's not make too many dishes, because who wants that many dishes? Now, in a typical onion soup, you have croutons. And they are indeed made with the classic French baguette. But I'm going to use this as our bun. I'm cutting this baguette into 4-inch lengths and then cutting each length in half horizontally. And I'm just gonna eyeball it. And let me get this on the grill. Okay, so while that is grilling, I'm gonna make the garlic butter. Why not? So here we have a couple tablespoons of butter. Let me get my burner going here. And the rest of the garlic. And this is gonna go on the bread once it's grilled. All right, I think, let's get these guys over here. Now they all need a little bath in garlic butter. Yum, yum. Oh, I wish you could smell this. This smells so good. You may wonder why I didn't put the garlic butter on before. That's because I didn't want the garlic to burn. All right, now on to the main event, the burger. So I have about 1.5 pounds of burger meat here. Don't use a lean meat. The higher fat content has much more flavor. And I'm gonna make 4 burgers out of it, but you'll notice a burger that was shaped like we normally shape them would not fit. So I'm gonna try to shape the burgers like the buns. They're gonna be big, they're gonna be thick, they're gonna be yummy. When you're shaping a burger, don't overwork it because then it will get very chewy and bouncy. That's fine for meatballs if you like it that way, but not for a burger. You want it loose. Okay, I'm gonna go hose down and then we're gonna get the burgers in the pan. Let's get this going. We need a couple tablespoons of oil. This is just a neutral oil. I mean, you could use olive oil, but we're keeping it very French. I'm gonna season my burgers while the pan heats up. Alrighty, let's see how we're doing. Ah, that's the noise I wanna hear. I'm gonna press it down just a tiny bit, but that's the last time I'm gonna press it. You don't wanna press it too much because then all the juices will come out. Give them about 3 minutes aside until they're beautifully browned. So now I am going to slice the cheese. I'm slicing 4 pieces of Gruyere, each one about 1 ounce. And we want nice thick pieces because it's all about the cheese. And then I have 1/3 cup of mayonnaise and 1.5 teaspoons of Dijon. Now, even if you think you don't like mayonnaise, this mustard mayonnaise really adds something to this dish. So try to get over yourself. I'm gonna give these guys a bit of a flip. They are giving off a fair amount of fat, and we're gonna lose some of that. We wanna leave a little bit of the fat because it's got a lot of flavor. Oh, those look so good already now, don't they? Okay, I'm gonna top these guys with the onion mixture and the cheese. This gets messy, but who cares? Then, each one of these guys gets its cheese hat. And finally, some wine. We need about 1/3 cup of a robust wine, your choice. Now we're gonna steam them and let the cheese melt. And while that happens, I am going to lather up our toasts with a little bit of the mayonnaise. Well, a little bit, a lot of it. Wow. Okay, but that is not all. It's not quite done. Be careful, take your time. I'm gonna put them on the bottom half of the buns. And all that yummy stuff that's still in the pan is going to reduce. Oh, it's getting quite syrupy anyway. You don't need to reduce it much more. See how rich and thick that is? Any little bits of onion. And then, let me see which lid. There we have it. Okay, I can't wait to eat this, but I think I'm gonna have to eat it with a knife and fork because otherwise it could get messy. Chips, pickles, why not? I mean, you spend all this time making a beautiful burger, you don't have to worry about the side dishes. Who cares? And who doesn't like chip anyway? So there we go. And I can't wait to taste it. Ugh. That sauce that it makes, and why wouldn't you capitalize on that sauce, is just so, so, so delicious. Well, I'm gonna find out right now. And the cheese. There is just nothing better than a big, cheesy burger. I'm Sara Moulton. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to cooking with you the next time.